Mårten of Organoclick. It's great to have you on the Big Green Show.
Yeah, great to be here.
Yeah.
And welcome.
Thank you.
To our facility.
Thank you. It's great to be here. You've been quite busy. I've been trying to catch you to get on the show, but you've had a lot of work to do.
Yes, I mean, we have had a pandemic, but actually we had a record quarter last quarter. So we have had a lot to do. The factory have been running in 2 shifts during the last 3 months. And we've been actually having problem to deliver to our, in particular, the DIY customers and here in Sweden, which have been renovating their homes and their terraces and so on a lot, and there they have used our products.
That is great. So you basically marched right through the pandemic, you could say.
Yes, we have actually so far. I mean, we have been affected in terms of the export markets. They have been really difficult, but the Swedish market and also the Finnish market have been doing really well in terms of the do-it-yourself market, and
so that more than made up for it.
It did, yes, it did.
But
fortunately for us,
that's great. That's great news, and it's fun to see companies actually being able to perform through this. It gives a bit of hope. But let's actually go back, and you tell us what Organoclick does.
We are changing the properties of cellulosic fibers in wood, textiles, paper, and other materials made of cellulose fibers. So we have a technology developed by our 2 scientific co-founders, 2 professors working at the Royal Institute of Technology originally, and now at different locations in Sweden. And they've looked at how different natural chemical processes occur. So what is the chemistry behind a tree becoming so strong? Or why does leaves become water repellent? Or why does some trees burn less good than other trees? And what are the molecules that do this? So we use this type of chemistry in new products which we use to treat cellulose like wood, textiles and so on, to give them water repellent properties, make them stronger, develop materials that can replace plastics and so on. So
you give them superpowers.
We give them superpowers.
I didn't actually know. So you are actually imitating. So it's a bit of biomimicry, imitating nature's own processes.
Absolutely. I mean, my 2 co-founders, they started already in the mid-90s doing research within this field. So that was a very early age for that. They were, I would say they were in the pioneering field of scientists working within biomimicry. And this ended up in a patent that they filed in 2005, which was the foundation of Organoclick, which was founded in 2006. So it was quite 14 years we've been doing this now on a commercial scale. Yeah,
very cool. And a proper commercial scale. You're actually now in a lot of countries selling this, or these different applications. Let's talk about, I think, these 3 maybe major things you're doing. One is actually then giving wood, you could say, new functionality.
Absolutely.
So that it lasts longer maybe. But tell us, what do you actually do to wood?
Wood normally is impregnated with heavy metals and biocides, which are very toxic in order to withstand rot and degradation. And the problem with this are that they are bioaccumulative, leach out in areas where they shouldn't be, and then also are toxic for other animals and not only the rot. What we are doing is we are using a way that is seen in many tropical hardwood trees. Small natural silicon minerals that are covering the surface of the fiber, creating a physical barrier to the rot instead of being toxic for it. So it becomes harder and more difficult for the rot to eat the fibers. So it's changing the way of looking at it, not creating a toxic material, but creating a material that is very difficult to degrade. So we are modifying the fibers with silicon minerals.
So that it's actually harder to penetrate this with water or fungi or whatever.
Yes, it becomes like that, and they don't like to eat it anymore. So they don't die, but they don't like to eat it, or they cannot. It becomes really difficult for them to eat it. And these silicon minerals are also incombustible, so it creates also fire protection of the wood. So we have actually higher fire classes on this wood compared with natural wood.
So you are also in a way replacing these, because they tend to also be hazardous, I think, these flame retardants that we use to soak in.
Absolutely. I mean, the most known is, of course, the halogenated bromine and so on. And they are they are cancerogenic, not very nice at all. But also a lot of phosphorus are used in wood impregnation to create fire retardancy. And phosphorus is not so nice either. I mean, this type of, it tends to have also some toxic properties in some areas, but also creates the growth problem in our water and so on.
Eutrophication.
Yes, eutrophication.
But so what's the price level then? If we how much do you add to the actual cost of that? But of course, since you increase the lifespan,
yes,
it in reality over the life cycle maybe makes it cheaper. But
what we look at is the price level is less than Siberian larch, for example.
Right.
I mean, you heard you have larch yourself. So it's in.
I have just a small wooden deck, so I use it.
So it's in between that more exclusive type of wood and the very cheap pressure impregnated wood. So it's a price level in between there.
Okay.
Yeah.
And this is actually, we have another one. This is the when it has got a little bit of patina.
Yes.
Over the years.
Yeah, after
really
1 or
nice,
2 years it becomes like that. Yeah.
Cool. Very cool. So that's, well, maybe with regards to wood. And then talk a little bit about the textile, because you have here actually a textile waterproofing. And this I think is sold in just regular stores, right? I could buy it.
Yeah. For consumers we have this, and it's been in textile impregnation. Traditionally you have used a chemical called fluorocarbons,
right,
or PFAS. And these have now been understood is very problematic chemicals. They are both cancerogenic and they are also hormone disruptive. So it creates a lot of problems in animals. And now we can also see that they become much more increasing level in even breast milk in women, because they don't degrade. They are biocommulative. So you can find them in water and in fish everywhere nowadays. And they never degrade actually. So this is a real big problem. So we have a fluorine-free and biodegradable water repellent that we have developed with the inspiration of the leaves, the water repellent effect on leaves. This is sold to industrial companies that are doing impregnation of textile in large scale, but also for consumers. Yeah. And this product we launched only 2 years ago, and now we have in Scandinavia more than 200 resellers. So apparently there was a need for a new type of textile impregnation. So that's very nice to see that it
is very nice. I have actually not used it myself, but I will start from now on, because I spray a lot of this on all my kids' clothes as well. So Naturkompaniet has this, for example. Yes,
Naturkompaniet, the Phoenix Outdoor Group, also in Finland with Partioaita, which is the sister company in Finland. Right. And now we're expanding into Norway, Denmark, and also the UK. We just signed a distribution agreement in the UK 1 month ago.
And Canada I saw as well.
Canada, yes, some of our products will now start to be sold in Canada as well.
Big outdoor market, I can imagine. So that's another textile, and this has maybe been.
This is from industrial impregnation. So this has been used it. So it looks, like a normal textile. It just becomes water repellent.
Yeah. Cool. Yeah. And so what is actually you said it tries to imitate how the leaves use their mechanism to repel water, but. Yeah. How do you do it? How does that work?
We take this fatty or these hydrophobic molecules, which we call them, that are normally attached to the fibers in the leaves. But we take them and make an emulsion of it, combine it with our catalytic system. This is the chemistry.
You actually take the same things that are on it.
Yeah, similar things, yes. Yeah. And then we attach them to the fibers in a textile or some other type of material. We have this type of thing for wood as well, or for paper as well. But we use the same type of chemistry. So it's the biodegradable molecules that we use that will degrade naturally if it's released in water during. Normally there are always molecules that are released into water, and this becomes the problem with fluorocarbons, that they will leach out after a while.
They have to go somewhere when you wash. Yeah. That's the thing. Very cool. And we have a third product, but it's a big one. But we'll try to bring it into.
This is a big one,
because it's also an interesting one.
We take this one. This is our Bio-composite, and what we have.
It feels and looks almost like a hard plastic.
It does a little bit, yes, but it's composed of cellulosic fiber from Swedish wood, and our biobinder system that is. Binders normally is made of plastic polymers, and they are used to bind fibers together. So in a normal composite material, you mix fibers with plastic.
Right.
And the plastic is, it's fossil-based, it's oil-based. And our biobinder system is, we have learned to understand the different biopolymers derived from food waste. So we are purifying molecules from orange peels, from wheat bran, from oat husk, and actually also from shrimp shells.
Where do you get all the waste materials? There's like a stock exchange of waste material you can buy it from?
There are actually biorefineries that have been specializing in these different sources of waste. I mean, these are large sources of food waste. The orange peels, for example, comes from all the orange juice production. You produce heaps of orange juice, and then there's a lot of orange peels left. Okay, the shrimp shells are from companies peeling off the shell from the shrimps and selling shrimps, peeled shrimps. That becomes big heaps of shrimp shells. And oat husks and wheat bran are from the oat production and wheat production.
But so you use different ones then for different purposes?
Yes, we do, and we have learned how to combine these together with our patented chemical system so we can replace plastic polymers that are normally used in biocomposites, but also in non-woven textile material that is used in wipes, in napkins, in medical textiles and so on. So they also use a lot of plastic binders. As you know, with the mouth cover that we have, there's huge problems now with the mouth cover with all the plastics that are coming out like waste. So here we are now starting to replace plastic polymers in a number of products, and this is one of them, where we have replaced the plastics with our bio binder system and then made this sound absorbing panel or acoustic panel together with our customer Baux, which is a big supplier of sound absorbing systems that you put on walls in offices in order to reduce the noise and the noise level.
And you told me a cool story about where this was actually used in a hearing in the US.
It was actually. We just discovered it 2 weeks ago when it was this hearing of the tech companies, and in one of the offices where Sundar Pichai sat, the CEO of Google, he had the whole wall behind him covered in this sound absorbing panel that had been produced here in our factory in
That's very cool.
We had no clue that he was actually having it. So it was.
He's a fan. He has good taste in sound absorbance.
I mean, of course, we were quite proud to see that he used our product in his office. Yeah.
Well, now everybody knows.
Now everybody knows.
Looks at the big green show. Well, that's great. So this then burns also completely clean.
Yes. Yeah.
100 CO2. I mean,
100% bio-based. So it becomes just ordinary bioenergy in the end. No fossil sources at all in this product. Yeah.
And we saw another cool product downstairs that used your biocomposite, the casket actually.
The casket. Limits not completely the same material, but the same concept are biobinders, but a different biobinder and cellulose fiber. And they're the largest casket manufacturer in Sweden, Fredal Rödéns, who is our customer. They use our biocomposite to 3D mold caskets instead of building them from flat materials. So and this what it has been shown is that you can save a lot of raw materials. A normal traditional casket weighs about 40 kilos. It's made of particle board. The casket that they are making with our biocomposite only weighs 18 kilos. So you save more than 50% of raw material, and this is for a single-use product. So it's a lot of raw material savings for this type of products. So
and as you told me, most of them gets burnt, and then if you don't actually use a completely biodegradable product, you will have something that gets emitted, right?
Absolutely, and I mean, you save also a lot of forest. I mean, that instead of being burnt will stand and keep carbons as well. So there's a lot of will be used for other purposes. So I think this is a very, very good product that we have developed actually.
And a huge market.
Huge market. So we are now in Scandinavia with Fredal Rödéns, but we're also looking at the North American market and also Southern European market.
Very cool. It's fun to hear you talk, because I met you the first time 2008 when you were entering this Eco Innovation Contest.
Yes.
I met you in a library where you presented about Organoclick. I already thought it was a great idea, but has this growth journey been as you expected, or has it been very different?
Well, I mean, this was early days for us. We started the company in 2006, so this was 2 years after our launch, and we had just started to understand where we could use our technology that was developed then at the academia. And I have to say it's good to be a little bit naive sometimes. Otherwise you would not start anything, because of course everything takes longer time than you expect.
Had you known all the challenges that would come?
well, I think it's good that you don't know all the challenges sometimes that it comes, but it's been a great journey.
And you've actually marched on and made progress, I think, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Pretty steadily along.
Yeah, I mean, looking back at the mirror, I would say it took us 2 years to understand where our technology could fit, and then it took us another 4 years before we had the first product that could actually be sold.
Right.
So it was 4 years of product development. So in 2012, we launched our first product, which was the wood, the organo wood. And then after that, we have been growing very rapidly. So the last 5 years, we've had an average annual growth rate of 33% per year.
Yeah.
And now we are at around 10 million euro in revenue. So it's, So
impressive. You are now on Nasdaq First North listed.
Yes, we are.
How is that? How's that treating you?
Yeah, I mean, now we've been there for a few years, so I started to get quite used to it, but I like it. It tends to, you get a little bit extra pressure to be a little bit more sharp, to be a little bit more focused, think maybe a little bit one more time before you do things, if you like me likes competition, I'm a former canoeist.
You were on the national team.
I was in the national team for 12 years, so I like competition, as you can understand. Then I think it's quite nice to have this extra tension on you. I mean,
I agree. I've been in the same position. I agree. I like it as well.
I mean, you have someone that judges you every 3 months.
For better and worse.
For better and worse, but if you like you know, that and a little bit of competition, then I think it's quite fun actually.
Here, shareholders, you can put as much pressure as you want on Mårten. No, but that's great. Yeah. Well, speaking of ambition and looking forward, then what are your plans? Where are you looking to go? It's turning into a global company. What do you look forward to? Yeah, well,
now we are starting to export our products more and more, but still 75% of our revenue are from the Swedish market, but 25% are from outside Sweden, and that is where we also see that we can grow a lot during the next 5-10 years. So of course, now we are at a 10 million euro level. I would like to add an extra zero afterwards. So that is what I'm looking forward to take this to 1 billion Swedish crown company, if you say that in Swedish.
Well, I mean, these applications clearly have the markets for it, and you've now proved them all separately. So is there any new product as well that you can make out of these?
Of course, I mean, the technology is very general, but, and this is the big but, we have such big potential in the different markets where we are right now. So now we have decided, now we will focus on these applications for a while to really see that they are growing a lot and get good business out of them. And I think that is quite important that you, after a while, really decide, okay, now we need to focus on this, and now we have such good products that are growing, they are working, they prove themselves. So now it's really about selling, marketing, and getting more efficient in our production as well, and improving the products, of course. So I mean, we have our own factory now, and we're working a lot with automation in that also, to improve also the internal processes. So it's both a matter of selling and marketing the products in new markets, but also being better
more money from each product.
Producing the products.
Well, that's a cool next stage for you to also be involved in.
Getting
the whole growth journey. Interesting. Well, that's all I had. Great to have you on.
Thank you very much, Alexander. Nice to see you.
And you.